Well, hello everybody and welcome once again to Lightning TV, brought to you in association with mjdphoto.biz. First programme of 2013 of course, and it's no easy weekends in the English Premier League with a double header against Manchester Phoenix. First of all here at the Thunderdome on Saturday night and then up in Altrincham on the Sunday. Lightning took away the points on Saturday after a 3-2 win. After the game we caught up with Chris Wiggins, but first of all I wanted to get the thoughts of Lewis Clifford. It looked ugly at times, but 2 points is 2 points.
Yeah, that's it. You know, we have a certain way we have to play, and depending on who we're playing against, it might be a different way. But in the first and the third periods tonight, we played that way. Second, not so much. Obviously, it's reflected in the scores of the individual periods. But yeah, we ground it out there in the third. We needed someone to step up or someone to score a big goal, and we got two of them from two big players that that we do come to rely on. But everyone played their part in the win, and we ground it out, did it by the numbers. Every guy, every shift coming at them in the third period there in waves, wave after wave, all three lines and all the D and Metzi as well in the pipes, and got a win, which is what we wanted and what we set out to do.
Yeah, it was coming in both ways, wasn't it? There was some two-way hockey going, left, right and Chelsea on there, and really sort of definitely the first and second periods were the tale of two netminders. Stephen Fohn and Alex Metzi had two blinding games, well worthy of the man of the matches. Yeah,
that's it. I mean, we know what we're going to get out of Metzi. He's been a bit sick recently and stuff, but every time he comes to the ring, if he looks a bit sick or whatever, and we'll check he's all right. He always wants to play. He wants to fight for it, and tonight that's what he did. And yeah, Phoney, he had a good game. I don't think sometimes we didn't test him enough, but he made, for two periods there, he was making all the stops he needed to make. Just in the third period, maybe his luck ran out a little bit, and a big goal from Blaz. 5 seconds later, a big goal from JMO, and game was over then.
Yeah, that certainly seemed to kill them off. They were shocked after Blaz scored that equalising goal, of course, and then to 5 seconds later, just going knocking that other one. That completely destroyed any other fight they had in them, really. Yeah,
it did. I mean, first of all, they'd already used their timeout. They used it immediately before the goal. I think they had a bit of a mixture of players out there because they'd iced the puck, called the timeout to give themselves a breather, which is fine. But then, for whatever reason, Blaz didn't get picked up, scored. They changed, got their proper line out there. Jamer goes straight down the middle, scores, and then by then it was too late for him to do anything about it.
It raised a few eyebrows actually. The timing of their timeout it seemed to suit Lightning more than it did Phoenix.
Well, that's the way it worked, but it's you're not to know it's going to work like that. I completely understand why they called the timeout. Tony Hand had been out there for ages. He'd iced the puck. If you can get 30 seconds breather, you can get 30 seconds breather, and 9 times out of 10 that'll work. It didn't work for him tonight, but I understand why he did it.
One thing I must say again, we talked about it last week with Nick Paul, was the forecheck tonight, because the last couple of games, the last few home games, definitely, the forecheck's been absolutely outstanding. You're not allowing any teams any movement at all in their own defensive zone.
Well, that's it. In hockey, well, in any sport, you're defending at any point when you haven't got the puck, whether that's in their end, neutral zone, our end, and we're just really hunting down at the moment, hunting down in packs as well, and going aggressively at the other team, not giving them any time to set up, because if you can sort of nip it in the bud before it starts, it's easier to deal with then than it is right in front of our own net. So, deal with it 60 metres away from our net rather than 10 feet in, and it's been working for us in the majority of our home games recently. Yeah.
It certainly seems that you're sort of getting ready for that normal sort of Lightning, sort of peaking at the right time, coming towards the running for the playoffs just after New Year. This league is probably going to be, we say every single year the league's tight, but this year it is tight, isn't it? Basingstoke have tripped over the last few games, albeit they picked up another 2 points tonight, but all of a sudden, Guildford are top of the league, yourselves and Manchester are in there fighting as well. Yeah, I mean,
the league table doesn't lie at the end of the day, and there is a gap between Manchester and us. But if we can get another win against them tomorrow, that gap gets smaller. And then there's not a massive gap between Manchester, Basingstoke and then Guildford above them. But at the same time, we've got to keep an eye on what's going on behind us. I think South probably won tonight. Last time I was checking, they were winning. And they're behind us. So we've just got to make sure we just keep winning every game. It's as simple as that. It sounds a bit of a cliche. Take one game at a time, win the game, move on to the next one, and that's the way we've got to go for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think we've had this discussion before. You can literally, take your eye off the ball or stop looking over your shoulders, as you say, and all of a sudden drop a couple of points, and before you know it, you haven't lost one place, you've maybe lost two places.
Yeah, that's it, exactly. It's exactly that. I think you're probably pretty much set what the top four is going to be, but that could change, and then you've got like that kind of middle four, and then the bottom two is probably going to be the bottom two, but then saying that Sheffield could move up, so it can all change, and there's not it's too early now to be sort of jostling for playoff positions or anything like that. We've just got to win every game, or come to the rink with the intention of winning every game and see where that takes us. Yeah,
it's too early to talk about playoffs, but having said that, in the back of your mind or back of anybody's mind right now, you've got to be thinking that the 8 teams that go into those playoffs quarterfinals, that is an absolute lottery, isn't it, on that weekend?
Well, yeah. If the league finished now, tonight, we'd be playing Slough again, who we played last year. And, we lost in overtime last year. And the only plus would be that if that was to happen right now, we'd have the home advantage on the second leg. But it doesn't really make any difference. And any team can beat any other team over one weekend of hockey. We've just got to make sure that whoever we play is us. So that's it.
Great team performance once again tonight. Good to see Nick Chin back in the lineup. Unfortunately, obviously, Chris Wiggins is still sidelined for his injury, and still a bit misty as to when that may clear up.
Yeah, he's had his scan and he's waiting for the results. I think you're going to speak to him tonight, and he'll probably be able to fill you in a little bit more. But we want Wiggy in the team. He wants to be in the team. As soon as he can be back on the ice, rest assured he'll be back on the ice. So.
Brilliant. Tough road trip tomorrow. 100 odd miles up to Altrincham. Nice barn to play in. Not a great place to not get teams to play against in their own barn. It's going to be a toughie. It's going to be a toughie,
yeah. Since I've been with this team, which is a season and a half now, we've not won there, and we're due one. Like it can't go on forever. And if we play like we did for 2 periods tonight, the first period, third period, we can win there tomorrow. But we've got to go in a right mindset, first drop of the puck to the final buzzer, and we'll see what happens.
And looking beyond there as well, I know you don't like to look too far ahead, but another tough weekend next weekend. You've got Telford down here on a Saturday, and then you've got Slough away on a Sunday, another tough one.
Yeah, but like you said, the league's so close, there's no easy games. We can't go through maybe was the case in the EPL 7-8 years ago where you can pencil in games when you're going to win. It just doesn't work like that. Telford have beat us twice already. Peterborough have beaten us twice. They're 2 teams that, if you look at us and look at them, really they've got no business beating us. But on the night, if we're even slightly under par and they have a good game, then anything can happen. So we've just got to make sure, like I said, one game at a time, 100%, good performance every night, and just keep winning.
Guys are confident at the moment. They're playing with a great deal of confidence, aren't they? Like you say, it's just that game-to-game mentality where they've got to be on it every single game.
Yeah, and it's also confidence. It's something that's hard to get, but it's easy to lose. So we've just got to keep, when we're riding, the crest of a wave, or so to say, you've just got to keep up there, and you got to keep pumping guys up, and guys keep lifting each other up, and and believing. And belief is, again, it's a bit of a sporting cliche, but if you believe things can happen, then generally they do. Tonight, when we went out for the third period, we believed we were going to score 2 goals and win the game, and we did. And that goes a long way, because if you go out there and you're even slightly hesitant, thinking, oh well, we might score, then that's when you're not going to score. You need to go out there and you need to believe.
Well, Cliff, been brilliant talking to you. Thanks again for your time. Good luck on the road to Manchester tomorrow. Let's get that first win in the barn since you've been with Lightning, and take away maximum point weekend.
Yeah, cheers, Chris. Thanks.
That must have been a really frustrating game for you to be on the bench watching.
Yeah, always. I mean, every game's frustrating when you're watching. You want to be on the ice all the time. So yeah, just watching game, it's not fun. You're pulling your hair out. I mean, you're seeing things that players aren't seeing on the ice. Yeah, you just want to be out there helping the boys really, and yeah, don't want to be on the bench at all.
The injury, looking around the internet and various forums and everything else, nobody really has got a sort of a clear indication of what the injury actually is. And I know you've had treatment for it, and you've had the scan and everything else. What can you tell us about the injury, and what is the prognosis? The long term thing.
Unfortunately, you probably know as much as I do at the minute. I've had an MRI scan. I've hurt my knee, so there's some sort of ligament damage in there somewhere. So I'm still waiting on the results of an MRI at the minute. But fingers crossed, couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, and at least as a minimum, be out there training with the boys.
So you think you'll be back on the ice that quickly? Because I notice you're not on crutches now, so it's easing to a certain extent.
Yeah, it's been getting better daily up until this point. But yeah, you've got to stay positive, and I've got my goals. I know where I want to be in the next couple of weeks. So fingers crossed.
That'll be absolutely fantastic to see. I did notice tonight you're on the bench and you're still giving you're out there with the guys on every single game, even though you're stuck on the bench. You're hitting every hit with them. You're hitting every shot. You're making every pass. You're into the game anyway.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, it doesn't change. I mean, I'm still part of the team at the end of the day. The boys want us here. I want to be there. I'm on the bench. I'm always vocal, even if I'm playing. I'm still calling guys coming for a change, or seeing that pass, or talking to the guys. It's just I get involved. I can't help it. So I'm probably annoying a few people, like shouting down their backs, but that's me. Deal with it.
We spoke earlier on in the season when you'd pretty much just joined us, and one of your concerns when you first came to Lightning, was will the fans actually take to me? We're sort of 4 or 5 months in now. I think it's fair to say that you're fairly popular.
I'd like to think so. I mean, there's a great setup here. I mean, everyone's welcomed us with open arms. It's been brilliant. The only thing I really could complain about is there haven't really been that much free beer. But hopefully we can work on that.
Yeah, but if you're taking painkillers, you can't drink those anyway.
I'm not taking painkillers. It's fine. Strategically missed them for the weekend.
Now, talk to me about tomorrow, because Manchester, a double-header weekend, you couldn't really, Lightning as a team couldn't really have had a tougher start to 2013 with Manchester as a double-header. The league do like the double-headers for some reason this season. 2 points tonight, which are half fought 2 points. It's going to be a tough one tomorrow, isn't it, up at their barn? Yeah,
definitely. I mean, Manchester are a good team. They always play well in their rink. They've got their systems. Obviously, Tony knows what he's doing. He's been around the game for a long time. But this is a big weekend for us. I think if we win tomorrow, I think that puts us 1 point away from Manchester with a game in hand, and then the title race is really on. There's still a couple of months left in the season, and anything can happen. So the boys are up for it. We're all up for it, and we're going to give them a game tomorrow.
Yeah, talking to Cliff earlier, all of a sudden, Guildford top of the league, having taken over from Bison, they tripped up. So it's still anybody's league, isn't it? It's sort of top 5.
Definitely. I mean, anything can happen. I mean, there's not really that big a gap. I mean, even below us, Slough aren't that far behind us at all. So anything can happen. Guys getting injured. Kirk got injured for Basingstoke. Obviously, that's hurt them. And the last couple of games, they're obviously feeling that they've dropped a couple of points. But I said there's 20 odd games to go. Anything can happen. It's anyone's. So you've got to be right there till the end.
Yeah, I've got to say, I mean, obviously there's been some fairly horrific injuries around the league, this season. Jacob Heron, of course, missing the rest of the season through his knee injury, yourself. And obviously a bit of a freak injury to Kurt Reynolds last week. I mean, perfectly good hit from Nick Paul, and it's resulted in essentially a broken leg, which is, for one of the league's best D-man, it's a shame to see him out like that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's... I've played with Kurt all through juniors as well. Played with him for a few years in Basingstoke, so he's a friend of mine as well. It's never nice to see anyone get hurt. I mean, even Paulie made the hit, and he was even asking me how he is. And you don't want to see guys hurt. At the end of the day, we're all here for the same reason. Yes, we're competitive, but we understand. We understand each other. We've all got a mutual respect at some level. Yeah, I'm sure we do. I mean, we genuinely do send our best, our best wishes to Kurt for a speedy recovery. Moving on very quickly to next weekend. Doesn't ease up for you guys. Is it Telford coming down on Saturday night, followed by Slough? Another tough weekend. It's got to be a 4-pointer, isn't it? Definitely. I mean, ultimately, you want to get 4 points every weekend. It's not possible, but for us, the pressure's really on now. It's in reach, but it's a challenge. We can't just turn up for one game a weekend now for the rest of the season. We have to be there for 120 minutes regardless. Telford coming down, I think we've still got a point to prove, because I think they've taken 4 points off us already this season, so that'll be a good game. And Slough, obviously, you've got Muzzy and Matty, and it's always good to get a couple of points over them. So fingers crossed the boys will do the job. Yeah, it'll be a tough one. Chris, thanks very much for talking to us. I hope to see you back on the ice soon. Don't rush back to Korea. I've just overheard Harry Helton saying to you not to come back too quickly, and obviously you have to listen to the boss, don't you? Sometimes. Sometimes. But yeah, back as soon as I can, so fingers crossed. And yeah, just appreciate everyone's support. Brilliant. Chris, thanks very much, and take it easy. We'll see you again soon. Cheers, thank you. Once again, thanks as we do every single week for the guys for taking the time to come and talk to us. Now let's have a look at the weekend's results and see how that affects the tables come Sunday night.
So, as well as the Lightning versus Manchester game, it was back to a full programme of league action on Saturday night. Guildford ensured a great start to the year as they beat Peterborough at the Spectrum, shutting out their Fenland opposition to record a 3-0 win. Basingstoke looked to steady their recent shaky performances as they beat basement boys Telford Tigers at home 5-1, while Swindon took the points away from Ice Sheffield as they beat the Steel Dogs 5-3. Meanwhile, Slough entertained Bracknell at the Hangar in a feisty affair as normal in the Battle of Berkshire. This time the Jets took the points with a 6-4 win, but it was ex-Lightning favourite and Slough captain Muzzy Wales who stood up for his teammates to deal with Bracknell's Scott Spearing. On to Sunday, and alas, it wasn't to be a maximum points weekend for Lightning as they were beaten in a tense and close game at Altrincham, with Phoenix coming out with a 5-2 win. Guildford kept up their charge at the top of the table with a 6-4 win at Bracknell, whilst Peterborough ran Slough close before losing on penalty shots, the score in Bretton 4-3 to Slough. Elsewhere, Steel Dogs shocked Bison by beating them 4-3 on penalty shots, and it will be the Hampshire side who will be relieved to pick up a point there. In the last of the weekend's games, Telford could stop Swindon from taking the points, with the Wildcats leaving the Newtown with an 8-4 win. So, onto the table, and Guildford start the year where they finished last year at the top, with Basingstoke just a single point behind. Manchester are a further 3 points adrift, with Lightning 11 points off the pace, but with one game in hand on the top three. Slough are a point behind Lightning, then it's Swindon, Bracknell and Peterborough who all seem to be vying for that 6th spot. Sheffield still have some work to do if they want to occupy a playoff berth, and Telford stay rooted to the base of the league following another pointless weekend for them. So still all to play for, of course, but with rumoured player movements due to take place in the coming days, it'll be interesting to see who has new faces in the lineup over the next few weeks. Well, there you go. That's all we have time for this week on Lightning TV. Don't forget, next Saturday night, 7 o'clock face-off, it's Telford who visit the Thunderdome. You can get discounts on your ticket as long as you get them before Friday. For more information, go to the website www.mk-lightning.com. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.